sparkling. Honestly, one of the best sparklings I've had ever. It was so just, I don't know, it hit the middle perfectly, not too far any direction. Really nice Chardonnay. Really flaky, delicious pies made by their chef. I'm sure it's just as flaky as the other one. So wonderful.
You gotta try this. This is incredible.
Okay, I will. Our first wine tasting experience in the Hunter Valley was amazing.
Really was. And this was a wine tasting with the pies paired with it. And it was just fabulous.
Oh my gosh, it was so good. And then we had a couple other wines she let us try. And
Absolutely.
we're taking a bottle of brut champagne back and some potato chips.
Nice.
But yeah, Savannah Estate. And Savannah is the third generation Peterson.
Yes, so Petersons are kind of the royalty of winemaking out here in Hunter Valley.
They've been here since like 1971.
Yeah.
And they're like award-winning for premium wines, and she's the third generation. And yeah, so she's
good.
Kind of put her own twist, I guess. What they call it, classic, modern, or something.
Modern classical winemaking, which is a nice way to say, hey, these are wines you can drink now. You don't have to cellar.
Yeah.
You can enjoy with friends and not really have to have a special occasion to enjoy them.
Yeah, they were really good, really good. And a couple of unusual things. We tried the sparkling Zinfandel, which sparkling red is different and it was really great. And what was it? Chambourcin.
Yeah, Chambourcin, which was a rootstock that was developed in the 1800s to help battle the phylloxera.
An American scientist and a French scientist worked together to develop this rootstock that could stand up to most things of Mother Nature, including the phylloxera. And they don't know exactly what the two things were that they were blending.
No, just because of history, and I guess the French have their own opinions on whether or not to recognize it, so they don't.
Yeah.
So yeah,
but
there you go.
Really good.
One of the mysteries of winemaking. Oh, you got more?
I don't know. Did we?
You got a bug crawling on your neck.
Okay, then we're done. Bye.
The next pairing we did was at Sadler's Creek, where they were pairing their sparkling and canapés made by a master chef. This was a wonderful presentation of their different champagnes, and the chef was able to really produce some foods that paired with them so well. These types of events are really nice to attend because they give you an opportunity to really understand what the different flavors of the wine do when mixed with different foods. And it produces a way of just really enjoying and learning so much more about what you're drinking and tasting.
Your sweet and salty elements and nutty comes from that, and then you always have to serve it on a little disc of something sour. So I like using pineapple, mandarin works, orange works, grapefruit. It's just a little bit too bitter for me, but you'll see as soon as you put it in your mouth. I've chopped it with just some fresh herbs, some spicy basil, and some mint, some toasted coconut, just to finish it off. So yeah.
And at the end, we got the opportunity to blend our own limoncello spritz. Just for fun, this label was inspired by one of the employees of the winery. Just had to get that picture. Briar Ridge was our third premium tasting that we did. And this is a very exciting tasting for us because it was totally different than the norm. It was mashed with some canapés, and it also went through the various stemware needed for tasting wines. Now, do you actually need them? No, but they do make it more enjoyable. Hey guys, this is Tim and Kathy again, and we're at Briar Ridge.
In the Hunter Valley.
Still in the Hunter's Valley, still enjoying some really great wine.
Oh, wow. This place was amazing. So we did like the premium tasting. You need to book it online. It was $25 Australian per person, so about a third of that US,
Yep.
as of December 2023. And then we also got the paired canapés with it, which was an extra $15 each and 100% worth it. What did you think?
Oh, the tasting was phenomenal. A little different than your normal tasting. They actually went through all the glassware of tasting,
Yeah.
as well as kind of the pairing with the canapes. And
I've never had a tasting where you have the proper glassware for every tasting, but also, not just that, he poured the Chardonnay into the Semillon glass, which is also used for like Riesling or something like that, and then a Chardonnay glass, which was a wider bulb than I'm used to seeing in the
Right.
US, and all Rydell, super thin edge, it's really fantastic glassware. But boy, did it change the Chardonnay.
totally like opened it up, allowed the flavors to come out, the aromas to come out in it. It's just it was a great experience. I mean, we've been here now for about an hour and a half. It's a long tasting process, but gosh, worth every minute if you can get
Yeah.
that experience.
Yeah. So one thing I want to say about the Chardonnay tasting is that the one in the more narrow glass actually felt more like a stainless Chardonnay, and the one in the wider glass not only was more yellow, like a oaked Chardonnay, but it tasted more like an oak Chardonnay, which it was an oak Chardonnay.
And you got to realize this is the same wine out of the same bottle in both glasses. It just really
Right,
does
same
affect
bottle.
it. Now, do you need to go buy the expensive stemware to drink your wine?
No.
Oh, heck no.
Of course not, but it's really fun to compare it.
Yeah,
And it's fun to taste it with multiple different items that
absolutely.
hit your palate in a different way, and then compare how the wine interacts with each flavor.
Yeah, and it's kind of neat, and like the guy who was leading it said, you know what? I'm not going to tell you what pairs with what because the honest truth is your palate is always going to be different than someone
Right.
else's. Something else interesting that we learned about was the terroir or the region of Southeast Australia.
Yeah.
And for Americans, this is where a lot of our Shiraz comes from. The irony of that is that actually isn't a region.
Yeah. It's a legal entity
Yes.
for bottling purposes, but it isn't actually a place.
So basically, what they do is the entire continent of Australia,
Except Western Australia
Except
is
for
not
Western.
included, a little tiny strip.
can be included into that southeastern region of Australia. So our Shirazes in America are very consistent by nature. That's because it's blended over a large frickin' area.
Yeah, basically they take wine from all over Australia. They take grapes. They age them individually, process them individually, and then each company makes their best blend out of it. And in fact, Penfold makes one of the best Shiraz blends in the world.
Yes.
From that.
Their bottle Australian is over $900, and they don't make it from the southeastern region. What they do is they take Penfold has basically bought up a large number of vineyards that produce very good Shiraz, and then for that particular bottle, they take the best barrels from each vineyard and blend that together to make
It's
their best.
award-winning
Yes,
wine.
and it's always
Which-
consistent again because it's coming from a wide variety of different tastes, so they can blend to what they want.
Yeah.
Now, there's another winery that has even a better Shiraz than that,
Called Hill of Grace.
Hill of Grace.
And they make like a Henschke?
Yeah, Henschke. I think it's called
Henschke?
Henschke or something like that. And again, that's over $900 for a bottle of their Shiraz. No, we're not paying that much. Not going to happen.
It's interesting because we always have felt safe buying a Shiraz in a grocery store from an unknown vineyard because they're pretty consistently
Yeah.
good in what you're expecting. But that is really not that much what a most Australian areas, especially Hunter Valley Shiraz, tastes like. It's a much more delicate wine here. And
it's interesting because it's delicate, but yet at the same time it still has a lot of heavy flavors.
Yeah, I mean, we love it still. We've always loved Shiraz, but yeah, and it has an Australian quality to it. It's not like just buying a Syrah.
Oh, mate, it does. Also, just for the sake of fun on that hill of grace, unlike the Penfield, they're coming out of all one vineyard to produce their top of the line. So
single vineyard.
It can happen that way, but for the most part in America, we're tasting the large blend, getting the full flavor of Australia as those grapes come from all different regions.
Yeah, so it's really fun to be here and tasting Shiraz most wineries have a Shiraz here.
Everybody has a Shiraz. In fact, everybody has 2 or 3 different Shirazes here.
And it's really, really good, even though it's different. Some are more similar and some are different.
Absolutely.
But we also, everyone has a Semillon, and that's been interesting too. Like here we tried 3 different Semillons. Semillons are known to age well, but also be very drinkable up front. And it's very interesting.
I hope you've enjoyed these 3 different styles of tastings that we were able to take part in here in Australia in the Hunter Valley. And I hope you stay tuned for the further tastings that we'll be doing later in this region. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to once again seeing you here on the channel with Cheers with us.